I'm a music villain since I cut my hair. I steal people's masters. I'm even more thuggish, especially with these glasses too. Oh, I've been talking that shit.
I'm
Like
liking the
I
new look.
liked it.
I
Huh?
like the new look. I'm glad you finally embraced. Like we've talked about this. Now that you've embraced the baldness, you need to add to it because we're starting to look too similar. And you're supposed to be the flashy one. I think you need to go ahead and implant a diamond in your face, dog.
I
Let's
just
do it.
graduated.
Like you need to
So,
go ahead, get that diamond anywhere.
you know what I'm saying?
Right here, right here, right here. It doesn't matter where.
I'm gonna put diamond sprinkles in my beard, bro. Like
Here's the thing. Has anybody done a full on diamond beard? Like just straight
you
across.
know what?
Has anybody done it?
Not even that, bro. Because let me roll into this impending wealth. I'm gonna just do a gold plated beard, right? I'm gonna get my beard gold plated, right? So like,
You're gonna look like Ludacris in that John Henry movie. You're gonna look
that was a
ridiculous.
terrible fucking movie, man.
Remember how bad that movie was?
That movie was bad. Speaking of,
Everybody hate watched that film. Like they was like, people told me it was bad, and I was still like, well, I gotta experience it for myself. I was like,
it was
oh
the
no,
opposite of
y'all was
it
right.
was the, it was the opposite of black excellence because it was black and ugly as ever. Ever I stay Houston down to my socks. It's your boy Chips Ahoy. Avery, like a very nice guy. And we're here with another In My Humble Opinion podcast. Happy Valentine's Day, ladies and gents. We hope everybody's enjoying the holiday, whether you have a Valentine or not. And if you don't fret, my pet. Just Devon and Avery Zadius are here to entertain you with another In My Humble Opinion podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Avery, like a very nice guy, and you can find me on all socials as Avery Zadius, and you should tap in because my IG stories are better than yours, even with me being a villain, as our guest says. Also, we have our host, Just Devon, peoples. Just Devon, my brother.
Me, I got no Valentine, so I'm gonna
You do.
be hanging out with the single folk too.
He has a Valentine. He's lying. We both have,
All
we both have Valentines. Why are we doing this?
right, that's
you,
all
can
right.
find, you can find him at Just Divine on Twitter, and also Dr. Douglas on IG because that nigga ain't coming up off that Just Divine yet on IG. We're gonna have to roll up on him.
It's gonna happen.
I'm telling you, if I come in, if I walk every time I come into a room and I don't talk, niggas be thinking I'm about that life. But the moment I start talking, it's over.
If you get beat up by a suburban dude named Justin, I'll be laughing like, hey man.
I'm gonna be laughing.
I'm gonna be like, hey man, that's you. That's you,
You're not gonna support this is
you got it, Just. Right. If he beats you up, he's pretty tough. You know what I'm saying? We were the suburbs. I'm not saying we can't fight, but I'm like, come on now, fights. You know it is.
It's two of us, man.
It is too.
Whatever, man. You can find the both of us at My Humble O on all socials and My Humble Opinion podcast, people on all DSPs and YouTube. We're 5 stars on Apple Podcast, FYI. I'm proud of us. I'm so proud of us. But enough about us. Enough of me. We're talking about Black love today for this special Valentine's Day episode. And we have 2 reoccurring guests that if you know, they've been a couple for a bit. One is a model. Yes, you're a model. Yes, you are. She's also the editor of the 4 Times Black History Month, people. You got to support Black publications. She's also a singer, a writer, a recording artist, fresh off the release of her album Girls. And the other is an all-around entrepreneur and philanthropist who uses his various platforms to bring awareness to social issues like the lack of interest in lesson plans with programs like Reading with a Rapper, Legends Do Live, and also the Sneaker Census. That's to name a few, just to name a few. He's the lead cultural engineer here with his lovely lady, Jarren Small and Lenora, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
It's lit.
Yes.
I'm gonna clap for this.
Clap.
That was an excellent intro.
It was.
Yes.
Love it.
Fantastic. Now,
You look like 2 Chainz right now.
it's
Nah.
A little bit.
Nah.
A little bit.
If 2 Chainz went bald,
Yeah.
okay.
Two Chainz. Dog, you do look a little bit like 2 Chainz.
Enough of me. Enough of me. We're like,
Oh no, that's gonna be a thing now. Okay, so we invited you guys on because it's the Valentine's Day episode, and I said this before, but I'm gonna say it on camera. We're having you guys on because we would go places and we would see Lenora, and here's how I know Jarren was there. I would hear somebody whisper, "Oh, here comes perfect boyfriend," like immediately, and then he'd come up. So the last time I saw you, I heard that no less than 5-6 times, and that was at the album release for Girls, where Lenora is usually the center, and Jarren is running around in all black, just making stuff happen and talking to people, whispering people, connecting people, shake this hand, da 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 da.
Making sure niggas don't steal.
I'm really mad that he knows. Literally, like, I don't do this on purpose, but the dynamic of what I be doing.
We see it.
Yeah,
definitely.
I be doing it to you every time I see him. Like, hey, yo, you need to come meet Douglas. You need to come.
Yeah. First of all, Jarren has introduced us to people and sold us way better than we deserved. When you introduced us to, okay, this is gonna be a complete side note at the president of Finish Line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ronnie, the vice president of Finish Line. Yeah.
No, here's the thing. I didn't know who that man was. I was just standing next to him. He comes up. He's like, "Yo, you need to meet them. They got a podcast. You need to meet him. He's cool." You didn't say what he did. Right. So I'm saying it. So I'm talking. The man talked to us about our podcast for forever. And then I'm like, all right, cool. So what do you do, man? He goes, "Oh, me? I'm president of Finish Line," and points. There's literally his name and like a picture of him. He's the speaker. And I was like, oh, that's why. But he was like, "Hey, man," he gave me his number. He gave everything. He's like, "Stay in contact. Whatever y'all need, I got you." I was like, Jarren really is making stuff happen. So appreciate that.
I couldn't really say what he did. I'm gonna let you find out on your own way I converse. I'm like, it's gonna happen. He gonna be like, okay.
Oh yeah, you should have seen my face when he said I'm the president. First, when he said I'm the president, and then he pointed. I was like, we're here for you. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So this idea came about during our episode with Lenora and Riot Muse, because we were talking about the album, we were talking about the songs, and Avery was like, "Man, we should have the two of you on for the Valentine's Day episode." One, because it's just great, and then two, because we kind of brought up the thing, we know them songs about you, and we wanted to.
We want to be empty.
The good.
I will say y'all the first ones to get this too, because no one really knows the real depths of all the songs.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the depths, then let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. We're talking about y'all. How do y'all even meet?
How you want to do it?
No, it's really, really funny.
Mm-hmm.
So we met because, well, first of all, we've known each other since we were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to date his friend. Okay, so let me tell you, like, why it's not that bad.
It's not.
So him and his friend, they went to church together. They were Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts together. And we dated when I was like 16, 17. So he like went to prom and stuff. So we would actually go to Jarren's house and like hang out. But I never looked at him like that. And he never looked at me like that, ever. Right. And then years later, we were having a Christmas party at Forward Times. And we have like a big Christmas party every year, you know, pre-COVID. And AJ McQueen, a friend of mine, who's also a friend of Jarren's, was like, "Hey, like, you know, I want to invite you to this Christmas party at the Forward Times. My homegirl Lenora and her family throw it. Like, come roll."
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I've been single for like almost like 3-4 years now out of my last relationship. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I get there.
But was he on that type of time? Like AJ, was he like, I never knew this?
Yeah, he was definitely trying to like, yo, I want to introduce you to my homegirl.
Oh, he was trying to hook us up.
Oh, so you didn't even know that this was a hook.
The thing is, I didn't know her name by Lenora. So I'm like, all right, cool. So when I get there, She come. I said, bro, that's Chelsea. I'm like, I know her.
My government. My middle name is Lenora.
And then he was like, Chelsea. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
bro. Like I know her. Like she used to come to my house. And he was just like, oh, okay. And so we literally in the hallway for maybe what, an
hour and a half.
An hour for sure.
It was an hour and a half.
Catching up, talking.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I was looking cute. Like I had my braids with my beads and a little slinky little dress. And he was like, oh, you didn't grow up.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo.
He knew me as like a little lanky, nerdy kid.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, we should go have dinner, catch up. Like we friends. And she was like, I'm just letting you know I got a boyfriend. I was like, bro, nobody's trying to like.
Period. He needs to know like she faithful. So I had a boyfriend at the time who was like lived in Atlanta. So it was a long distance thing. And
AJ was trying to hook you up while you had the boyfriend.
I know. I feel like AJ may not have known because I wasn't like super public with my boyfriend. Like,
okay.
It wasn't like this. So this was like December of 2016. And so he was just like, you know, I'm not trying to get at you like that. Like, I'm just trying to go eat.
Almost 10 years.
And I was like, but the way you looking at me right now, I know that that's not just what you want to do.
And so
that wasn't the right thing to do. So I said no, because I knew his energy was different. And I was like, I'll probably enjoy this too much. Like, this is wrong. So I didn't. And then
I went away.
He went
like
away.
A year. I ain't bother her. I ain't like, all right.
We followed each other. And then like in 2019, 4th of July, I was single and I made a post because we were, you know, hanging out with my family and my family, who I'm not going to, you know, say their names. Well, actually I can say Jesse because Jesse found love on Bumble. My brother found love on Bumble and he's engaged now.
Oh, wow.
And so we were talking about like dating apps and I was like, I've never been on a dating app before, like ever. I want to see what it's like. So my cousins were like, okay, let's like set you up a profile on Bumble. So they're explaining to me what Bumble was. I was calling it Bumbler. And so
that's the correct
set my thing up. And then I let my brother like vet it to read my bio. He was like, yeah, this is cool. This doesn't look like too whack or too lame. And so I'm like, all right, cool. So I screenshot it, put it on my Instagram story, and I'm like, watch out, you know, a bitch on Bumble. And Jarren like replied to the story like kind of immediately and was like, so you single now? Like basically with the energy of like, take this down. Like,
that's
doing.
What are you doing?
A lady of your stature should not be on.
That's 100.
Like, what you doing? Yes. I was like, what about that dinner you owe me?
She was and like, he put the Pinocchio nose emoji.
Because she'd be lying. I'm like, you wasn't. Wow. And so I was like, she was like, well, when do you want to go? I said, tomorrow.
I was like, ooh. Oh, yeah.
Okay, then that was it.
So we went on our first date the day after 4th of July to Glorious on that Friday. And then we just been dating ever since.
Hold on, wait. Don't skip.
Oh, yeah.
The day was so live, you know what I'm saying? she wanted to further the day after. I was ready to go. She was like, what you doing after this? I'm like, clearly nothing. And she was like, let's go to the flat. I'm like, all right.
So had you been to the flat before?
Like a couple, not like once. So we went. And she sit there and buys me like 3 French connections. I said, oh.
Okay.
You know, that's premium liquor, double. Like,
yeah.
I was tricking on him.
And then she said, you know what, let's do a frozen
mojito.
I said, oh, she.
No, we had 2 French connections and a frozen mojito. I had these people thinking I gave you alcohol poisoning.
I was like, oh, she.
Tried to take advantage of your boy.
I was about to say, so this is the story.
And then lo and behold,
you tried to get him drunk.
You tried to get him drunk.
You definitely tried to get him drunk.
No, ain't no try. She did. I woke up the next day. I was like, bruh.
Yeah, and then from there we just like kept hanging out, and then but the most important thing before we go on with this was that he's the first guy that ever asked me to be his girlfriend. So he asked me August 2nd. Like we had been dating since July 5th, and then he made reservations at Eddie V's
because it was Black Restaurant Week, so it was 2 for, you know, the price was
you out of control. You out of control.
Hey, anybody
you gotta make it happen. You gotta make these deals happen.
Yeah. Anybody listen to this podcast, if you want to take a girl out on the date or vice versa, go either Black Restaurant Week or Houston Restaurant Weeks. Don't play yourself.
Because we got the, you know what I'm saying? We had the appetizer, we had smoked old fashions, we had our entrees, and then he asked me over dessert, over the, what was that dessert?
It's
The
like
Foster?
the
No.
banana Foster.
Foster, yeah.
cake.
But it was like, it was a flame on it and stuff. And he asked me over the fire. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
You a smart guy, Jarren.
And then he had the table next to a live band. They were doing like an acoustic kind of set. It was live, like a little trio. And he was like, yeah, I got this table because I knew it was like live music. I knew you wanted to hear live music. And I was like, ooh. So when he asked me, I was just like, yeah, I was like, yeah. But in my head, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, what's happening? Like, this is becoming so final. And I knew when I like went out with Jarren, I was like, because before me and Jarren went out, I told my mom on 4th of July, no, the next morning, the day we were supposed to go out, that morning, I was like, I'm going on this date with him, and I don't know if if it's gonna work out or something. I was like, he's very attractive and he's really, really cool, but I don't know. And she was just like, why? And I was like, because he seemed like the type of guy that your mom would want you to marry. Like, he has a very mayoral.
Y'all hear that?
He's like a mayor, like a pastor.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to be a first lady.
She's mad at the fact that I might be a great guy.
Said,
like,
I'm concerned that he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's my concern.
Wow.
So my mom, I was like, he's some type of guy your mom would want you to like marry. And my mom was like, you don't know that. I may not even, like him like that.
Your mama liked him.
First time she met him, she was like, don't mess this up.
Yeah, so that's how it happened.
And so
we've been rocking ever since.
We've been rocking ever since.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now here's the other thing too. You guys both, at what point are y'all realizing that, like, Jarren, when you went in, it's like you knew that Lenora sang, like you knew that she was developing a career. And Lenora, did you know all the stuff? Like, I don't. Jarren's a cultural engineer. Like, he had to make up a title because we didn't know what to call him. Like, I was like, Dad, what do you do? Like, when people,
he does so much.
Yeah, people ask me like, hey, what does Jarren do? I'm like, oh, well, instead of just naming the multiple things he does, I'm like, he's a cultural engineer. He engineers the culture. If that helps, like, go talk to him. So, did you guys know your professions kind of going into this, and did you know how they were even going to mesh?
I can answer that. So originally at first we were like purposely not trying to bleed them into each other. We was like, okay, you have yours, I have mine. We're not gonna mix because we like where we at in a personal side, and like we was each other's piece when we came home away from all that. So it was just like, okay, but it was just at a point where at the end of the day I want to be very clear. This is like my friend. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of my, I can consider her like my best friend. So anybody in their right mind with their friend, if they need help, you're gonna help.
Right.
So I'm just like, okay, what you need help with? And that's just what it was. I'm like, people think I'm like a boyfriend manager, or like I'm not. I'm just a boyfriend that happens to appreciate what his girl is doing and wants to see the best for her. So I'm gonna help her with what I can. I have resources, so why would I not use them? And it's vice versa. She has resources at the same time too. Yeah. So it's like it makes it easier it's easier to help somebody when they're helping themselves.
Facts.
Absolutely.
You know, so it was just like, okay, we are already doing things. We just kind of both need like a little nudge here and there. So that's just, it just organically went into that over time. But at first we were like, keeping it separate, not really posting about each other. We were like, because we just like, it's not for everybody else. It's for us to have.
I got that. Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's back up too, because we said, like, Lenora revealed what she was thinking before she went on that first date. Jarren, like, before going in, because she's finding out now that AJ was looking at this as a setup the whole time.
Right.
And you hopped in the DMs like immediately when you saw that Bumble. So before the first date, what were you thinking?
I mean, granted, she's very attractive, right? So it's like I always saw her on Instagram. She, putting little pictures up. I was like, oh, look at her.
That's what you would tell me.
I used to just look at her like, put that away, girl. She was like, oh, okay. She would just say, she would flirt with me. Yes, sir. So I'm just like, I always knew she was attractive, but the thing that attracted me mostly to her, it wasn't anything physical. It was the conversation we just had. Like when we re-met each other and we talked for that hour and a half, it was just like, it was refreshing, right? Because I was just like, bro, I can actually talk to you. I can be myself. Because in my own little witty, weird way, I'm a nerd. So I'm just like, okay, I don't have to hide any of who I am, and you already know me. So it's just like it was just easy. We skipped a lot of steps.
So you knew all of this before the first date.
I knew when I actually go to dinner, like, yo, there's a possibility that you really might cheat on your boyfriend.
Jesus. Okay, but before our date,
Yo!
whoa,
All right.
Okay.
The audacity.
You gotta love the
The
confidence.
audacity.
On the first
He a
date,
wild boy.
on the first day when we went,
Before that, what you thought? Like,
I thought she was.
Were you nervous?
I was kind of nervous because you got to keep in mind, like, I was in the before dating Lenora, I was in a relationship for like 7 years.
Right.
Coming out of college, going in. So like after that, I wasn't with anybody. So I got used to being to myself, growing in myself, learning myself. I'm like, if next time I do this again, I'm not wasting time because I'm like, I just went through too much and I don't want to do that again. So I was nervous, but I was excited because I felt like it just felt right. It wasn't forced. Everything was just natural. Like even how we approach each other, how we talked and flirt, it was nothing like forced. I didn't give him no cheesy lines like, yeah, you know, I didn't do none of that. It was just organically happening. It was just to the point.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
And this is since we are digging deep, we asking the questions. You asked her out, you know, like officially, like boyfriend, girlfriend, August 2nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when did you know you was gonna do it though?
Well, that's a great question.
Well, y'all giving me the tea.
So we were courting for like what?
Come on, courting. That was like what, 3 weeks then?
3 weeks. It was quick, right? Because we skipped steps, right? Because I already knew her. She came to my house. So it was like there wasn't a whole like, let me get to know you, see what you are, vetting you crazy and all stuff like that. I already just knew what it was. So I think when she allowed me to come over her house one day. And we were in her room. I asked for permission to sit on her bed. I'm like, yo, is it okay if I sit on your bed? Because you know, you can't just be sitting on people's beds.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah. And we were just like talking.
Yeah.
Like the TV wasn't on, the radio, we were just talking. Before you knew it, like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours went by and we were just talking. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, bro, I'm entertained by her, period. Like just her and herself. I can be around her and have no distractions and I'm focused. So I'm like, okay. I like this because it was the conversational and it was her mind that attracted me. It wasn't so much the physical parts. I was just like, this is refreshing. So I like this. And as we just kept progressing, it just felt right. And I was just like, do you want to be my girlfriend?
So how long before you asked would you say you knew? Like a week, like days?
I think probably like a week. I knew.
A weekend. Okay.
A week. Yeah, I knew. And that's just like, let me just kind of like vet some more little stuff here and there to check some stuff off for me to feel comfortable. And then once I got that confirmation, then I asked her.
Because we literally were like, we went on our first date on that Friday night. And then when we was at AJ's house that next weekend, because AJ did a writer's block thing. And then we went to his house for like tacos. And he was like, I don't know what this is, but I like it. Because me and Jarren were like, looking like newlyweds and everybody was like, how long have y'all been together? Because it was like married people and we was like, we're not
together.
That was like 3 weeks.
Right. No, it was like a week. Like
a week. Literally a week.
Okay. Was there ever concern that it was moving too fast?
Yes.
I definitely came to her like, hey, yo, let's slow down.
He told me he wanted to pump the brakes.
Yeah, so you'll slow down for a second. I've navigated these waters before, so I'm just like, I want to make sure I do this right. I don't want to force anything. So I'm just like, I want to really make sure that you understand that I'm here for you and not for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you were very like intentional about that. He was like, I want you to know, like, I'm not here to like just, you know, be sexual with you. Like, I'm not here for that.
I don't care about you being Lenora. Like, right. I'm like, bro, no, I know you know you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
every time he say my name, he do air quotes and be like, Lenora.
Because
you know what? Okay,
so yeah, because she used to get him. It's like, when we're out, don't call.
Oh
no, talk about it. Go ahead and say it.
Don't call me Chelsea. Lenora is my artist. I'm the persona. I'm like, okay.
Dang.
Because it just happened organically. I'm like, yo, Chelsea. She was like, stop it. I'm like, all right.
It's not that it would bother me when he said Chelsea in public. Let me be clear. But it's like, if somebody is coming up, right, and they're like talking or whatever, and they know me as Lenora, and he's like, oh, or somebody else, hey, let me introduce you to my girlfriend. This is Chelsea. And so that's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. But then it's awkward because then they're just like, it's happened. They're like, who is Chelsea?
Chelsea? Even AJ was like,
Lenora.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chelsea. She was like, that's Lenora. I'm like, no, that's Chelsea.
Like, who the fuck is Lenora?
That's you know that was
my callback.
And my thing was like,
callback for people that don't know.
My thing was like, you thought you knew her. Nah, I know her. So
that's cute.
So then there's the other thing about that, because Lenora, there's Lenora, and then there's Chelsea.
Right.
And I wasn't trying to make Chelsea sound like that, but I was like,
Ryan Muse calls me Chelsea too.
You say what?
Ryan Muse also calls me Chelsea.
Oh no, I noticed during the interview. Like it takes so you're now dating somebody that has an image, and her image ranges. Like we talked about this in the interview. It's she's quirky, she's funny, but it's also sexy. Like I think during our first interview, we talked about the fact that you would post pictures and then you take them down because you were like, do y'all think I'm like an Instagram model or something? Like I was just putting a picture up.
Yeah.
So,
I was just like lazy about like my aesthetics. I was just like, oh, this is a cute picture of me in a bikini. I'm going to post it. And then at that point, before like Instagram and this whole algorithm like stuff where they like screwed us out of a bunch of impressions, I was the first picture I'll never forget. I took in my mom's backyard. She took it by the pool in a swimsuit. I wasn't even trying. Like I was just standing there with the sun in my eyes like this. And that picture literally went viral. Like it was like tens of thousands of likes on it. And at that time, that was a lot of likes. So after that, I started getting a bunch of followers. And so I would just be like, hey, mom, take a picture of me real quick. And then it would always be in a swimsuit because, you know, it's a pool in the backyard. So, and so like everybody was like, and then once I started making that shift to like an artist page, it was like I had to weed out the people that was like, turn around. You know, so
yeah, but now
I'm not gonna lie, as a patron of Instagram, I was definitely one of those like, oh, this is a great page. I'm entertained. I am amazing.
I'm all in.
All in.
So as a patron of Instagram, you know how Instagram works. And now you know that now that you're with Lenora, there are a whole lot of other Patreons of Instagram that look at Lenora a certain kind of way. Like, what is that like now as y'all navigate y'all's relationship?
I think we've definitely put our real estate on Instagram, letting people know, like, you know, we're serious, you know, we're together. But I also understand that she has a job to do and people are going to be people. You know, at the end of the day, my thing is like, I go home to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I have nothing to be bothered about. You know, it's just like.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, did y'all see the girl music video?
Well, that's what I was gonna bring up. And the reason why I was gonna bring it up is not only the girl music video, the first place I saw the girl music video was Jarren's page. I had a little message like I had to talk to old buddy real quick, but look at my girl's video, y'all. Like that was pretty much it. So yeah, I mean, first of all, let's talk about the girl's music video.
Oh, for sure. So, go ahead.
Avery, listen, man.
Look, that's your girl, and I'll be like, I don't see nothing but the extras.
No, Avery's funny because Avery he be liking stuff, but he'll be coming like, hey man, I don't know, Jarren. He be saying it be so.
I shoot you out every time. I go, damn, you look good, but you know, you Jarren's girl. So just, you know what I'm saying?
Because my thing is at the end of the day, she does. There's nothing wrong with saying somebody, that's a compliment still, right? Yeah. I don't look too far into it unless, you know, it's just something just blatantly just like disrespectful. Yeah. But the video, the whole time she was like, you know, doing the treatment for it with Ryan Muse and the team that shot everything. And shout out to Uche and Selassie for doing that because it was an amazing, and Bobby, it was an amazing video. But they was like, yo, we're going to have a sensual scene, X, Y, Z. So I'm like, cool, because I get it. A lot of people don't know my background. Before I started doing all this was a media company.
Smalls Media.
So I was doing music videos, short films, documentaries. I was low-key interning for Boomtown. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really like in it. So I'm just like, I get it. So I'm just like, if we're gonna really do it, we gotta make sure, let's do it. So he gets there. This is the first time, keep in mind, this is the first time he's even meeting Lenora. You know what I'm saying? For the first time. He's a young dude, 22. So I'm like,
So we
oh,
hired
man.
him.
I said, all right, man, this dude's like a kid. I'm not gonna be like, he nervous, she nervous, and doing all the scenes. I'm like, I stopped it. I'm like, hey, brother, put your hand here.
He was like right here.
Like, come on, man, stop playing. Like,
on that fast.
I said, I need you to sell it, bro. Like, because if you don't sell it, it's not gonna work.
It's gonna look awkward.
It's gonna look awkward. Y'all gonna both look socially awkward on here. So like, they got that over, then it was just magic after that.
So he is correct, but let me just give y'all a little more context because we made sure, I was like, if we're gonna do this interview, we gotta be like 100. So we got our truth juice too. So let me tell you, we knew, first of all, the song Girl is a very like sexual song. It's sexually charged. And the whole song is about a phone conversation, like talking shit with your girl about an encounter. So when we were talking about the treatment and stuff, it was Jarren's idea, actually. A lot of people don't realize this, who had the plot twist. The plot twist idea was his. I'm not gonna say it because if anybody watches this,
watch the video.
It was his idea.
Yeah.
But I knew that it had to be an intimacy scene. Now keep in mind, since Jarren and I have been dating, I have never kissed, touched, or been in the bed, you know what I'm saying, with another guy. So I was just like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. I've never done a love scene before. So I said that to him the morning we shot the video. I was like, oh my goodness, I've never done a love scene. He was like, love scene? Y'all gonna be kissing? He was laughing. And so I'm like, oh my God, is this gonna be awkward? And he was like, it's an intimate scene. I'm like,
no, because she said no. So I'm like, first off,
yeah,
this is an intimate
I
scene.
did. Because I knew our lips wouldn't touch.
Your definition is what?
Just saying, I knew our lips.
I was like, your definition is wrong. No, that's not a love scene. That's an intimate scene. She's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, y'all are just touching them like, yeah, it's an intimate. Y'all being intimate. No, that's completely too different.
Okay, well, so after he said that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be awkward, because I knew Jarren was gonna be there because he's always producing, doing like just making sure everybody doing what need to be done. He's that person. So I was like, Jarren, I told Ryan Muse when she was doing my makeup, I was like, Jarren gonna have to go in another room. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do this. I never met this guy before. And so what's funny is he walks in. Now I've never met him, like Jarren said. And Ryan Muse has worked with him on another, like a skincare line brand or something. And she had told me, I was like, you know, whenever we're casting this person, I knew I wanted a chocolate man because I have an affinity, you know, for chocolate, love chocolate skin. But also I needed to make sure he was tall enough. And so I was like, how tall is he? And she's like, he's 6'3". He's like 6'3". He's tall. He walks in. This kid is like 6'7". He's so tall. And so I was just like, everybody was like, who is this big nigga? And so, but he's so sweet and like really like, you know, young and innocent. And so he walks in like, hi guys, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Just a pleasure to work with. But he was so nervous because you walk on set, you don't know anybody except Ryan Muse. He's never met me. He's been on my page. He knows Jarren's my boyfriend. He's like, okay, I gotta be her love interest and her boyfriend right here. This is awkward. So I was literally, remember, like feeding him shots of Jack Daniels. Like, here, take a shot.
I told yo, slow down. You trying to get my man crazy? He gonna be all discombobulated
no,
before the
it
shit.
helped. It helped for sure.
I was about to say, Lenora, is that your solution for everything? Like drink?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Plus he's 6'7". He can handle
like
a bottle.
6'7". So when we first were sitting down, he was nervous. And so we were just like talking, like to, you know, to have the scenes where we were talking. And then they were like, okay, enough talking. And he's just like, oh, I don't know what to do. And so first his eyes were closed the whole time. He wasn't really wanting to touch me. And so then like Jarren's like, hold on, cut. Look, we don't want to be here all night. I need you to like sell this. I need you to sell this shit. Grab her right here.
This shit
and I need you.
This ain't free.
It ain't free. That's what I'm saying.
I'm like, yo,
this ain't free.
I'm like, what we doing?
He was like, you have my permission. So after he said that, we do the next take, and it was so believable that Jarren goes, that was good. That was good. I almost snatched her up and I almost hit you. So that was, that was good. And we moved on to the next scene. Yeah. And literally, we were all like, Jarren is boyfriend of the century. My mom said it too after that. Like, but this is, you know what I mean? This is show business. So He understands, and I'm so grateful to have somebody that does understand, because he knows, like, I've dated really, really controlling men in the past, like that would never even, let alone let an intimate scene happen in a music video. Like, they would have had an attitude about the song being written about whoever they thought it was, you know what I mean? Just crazy stuff. Like, but he don't be on that type of time. And I'm really grateful for that. Like, we're real understanding. I think it's because we're friends first, and he's honestly a secure person. So
that's the biggest thing. Like, I'm secure in who I am as a person and as a man. So I'm not like really moved while other guys. I'm like, bro, I'm Jarren. I'm like, I'm good.
Come on, I'm like, Jarren.
That's good. I like the confidence is always good. Now, we have added to the mystique of Jarren being the greatest boyfriend, the boyfriend of the century. Now let's tear Jarren down. All right, so let's get into music, because there are good songs about love, and there are other songs. So let's talk about. You know what? I'm gonna ask Jarren first. Listening to the album, what songs were you like? Oh, really? You said it about me? And what songs were you, what was your first listen to the album? Were you there the whole time?
She recorded everything in LA at True Studios with Nick and Polly. And she would send me certain songs that she wanted me to listen to. And I was like, okay, cool. So she's like, what you think about this? What you think about that? And she sent me Crush on You. I'm like, she's like, this one I wrote about you. I'm like, oh.
And we was only dating for like, what, 2 or 3 weeks?
I was like, I got the juice. Okay. I'm a muse at this point. Oh, okay. I'm like, cool. This is different for me, right? I'm really kind of private. So I'm like, it's cool. She's not saying my name, but if anybody's like aware, you're going to probably be like, got it. So it was Crushing You. Then when she said Good to Me, I was like, hold on, bro. Hold on.
Like, this is how people feel dating rappers.
My thing was like, the beginning of the song is crazy because it's a ballad. So it's like when you hear the album, everything is flowing. Then she hits you with Good to Me. It's like, whoa. It's a different tone. It's a different texture. The song completely just different, right? On some award show, she coming out killing it. But towards the end, when she asked the question, like, why do you talk to your ex? I was just like, oh my God, bro.
X Games, bro. I'm not here for that.
So I mean, what was the conversation? What was the conversation after that? Because it's one thing for her to be sending you like, oh, the nice songs, yay, da da da. It's another thing to be sitting and being like, well, I remember having this conversation. This almost was a fight, what I mean? Or it was a fight, and now it is immortalized on music. And Jarren, just so the audience don't know, you don't rap.
No,
you can't respond back. Nah. There ain't gonna be no Jarren 444. So it's just out there. All the stuff is favored towards Lenora.
Right.
She talking about you on a beat. So
I think one, she was right, because she couldn't say anything that I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. So it's like it wasn't a lie. And I think she was expressing a part that most women go through. Relationships, right? Like it's realistic. And I think at the end of the day, knowing what she wants this album to be for not only women, but even for men, to kind of take some stuff like, learn how to talk and treat women and understand and be comfortable who they are as women, like, and support them, like, no matter what they're going through, but also stop playing with them.
And stop talking to your ex.
Because it's like, at the end of the day, like I told you, I was with her for 7 years. I'm just like, it was a phase out, but it's like, you've been with somebody for that long. It's like we stayed together. I mean, it was a lot. You know what I'm saying? We had a dog. It was just a lot. But I want people to understand, like, I wasn't like sleeping around with her or I wasn't doing any of that. It was me trying to handle certain things from like a financial thing that I promised her with some certain stuff, because we moved together, that I would take care of once I kind of got back afloat. Because I had quit my job a while ago before I started trying to be an entrepreneur. But she kind of like, all that stuff. So like, it was just bad miscommunication on my end to Lenora. But
so basically they still had some dealings financially, and he was still doing that, but he wasn't letting me know.
I wouldn't let her know that. So to her, it's like, bro, what you doing?
And even beyond that, like, they were still kind of speaking candidly, and I would see her name pop up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm not comfortable with this. This is a trigger for me. Like, at first I was calm about it, you know.
I went about it the wrong way for sure. I could
Yeah.
have been more open and honest to her, and I wasn't, because in my head as a guy, I'm like, this is not a big deal. Once I get done paying this stuff off, there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
We're not together. I'm with you, but at the end of the day, I am with you. So I should be communicating with you everything that I'm doing outside of our relationship, because it does affect our relationship.
Right.
You know, so she was right I mean, if I didn't do it, she couldn't put it in there.
Why you still communicating?
Why you have to sing a song though? We got it. You know what I'm saying? Hey. So, and this is the thing I've learned. At the end of the day, when guys do something wrong, they never forget.
Never.
They put in everything. Oh, but when they do something wrong, why are we talking about that? Like, can we just like move on? I'm like, nah.
No, okay,
you gotta
right.
start taking singing lessons.
I was saying you're right. I was saying that we, once we did like kind of resolve that issue and like deaded it, like
I told her, I was like, bro.
We had a conversation in which honestly, like months after, I was still bringing that shit up, and he was just like, look, when it happened, you were super, super pissed. Like, because they were like, communicating. Yeah. And I found out. And he had told me that they weren't, And so once I found out, of course I spazzed.
Yeah, I lied.
Yeah, he had lied. He lied hard. And once I found out, I had spazzed, not in a sense of like, I would never put my hands on him or nothing like that. But I was like raising my voice and I was really upset. And so he ate that. He ate it. And he was just like, she like pretty much hates my guts right now, but I'm gonna still be around you. Like, I'm gonna still be here. You can like yell at me whenever you feel like yelling at me, but I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna just be right here. And he ate that. And so like after a while, probably after like what, a couple months, a month or two.
That was a month.
A month. Yeah, like a month.
I'm not gonna let that program over.
After like a month, he was just like, look,
listen,
I can't, like, we can either like move forward and like move forward,
or you just stop,
or you can keep bringing this up, and because I can't do this. You didn't say we could just stop like that.
I mean that's pretty much what I mean. Like,
you meant it, but you ain't say it like that. It's just like, and I was like, you know what, he's right about that, because when you say that you forgive somebody and you're gonna move on, you gotta really move on, because it's not gonna serve you.
Yeah, but it's also
gonna keep bringing it up.
But to her point, it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand to her. She's like, yo, I'm not doing anything left outside of the relationship. I'm really giving my all with you, and you over here doing this like you being a typical nigga.
Yeah,
you being a nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought she wasn't a nigga, and you over here, you almost made me feel like you was a real 100% like good guy, and you over here being a nigga. So I'm like, I'm not that guy. So once I had to explain everything to her, I was just, anything she asked me, I was just honest.
Yeah, because I think at first, of course, you're gonna lie because you like, I don't know what this person gonna say, like, and what their response is gonna be. Yeah. And so like I would ask him questions like, when the last time y'all talked? When the last time, and he would not be honest with me about it. And so once he was, I was just like, okay, the trust had to be restored, Yeah. And then honestly, like at that time, I'm just like, I was spazzing. I'm like, you gonna do this, with a college fling? I got rappers and top tier athletes in my DMs. I don't say nothing. I be ignoring them. Blah, 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 blah. So
she didn't really say that, but it's fine.
Yes, I did. I did. Yes,
I feel like she said it.
I feel like she said it. I feel like Sugar said it.
She said a context of that. She didn't say it. She didn't say all that.
I was like,
that kind of leads to
paraphrasing, but I pretty much.
She's paraphrasing the hell out of this. Like she didn't say that.
The point was that it didn't matter. That it didn't matter who was in there. That I wasn't finna like give them no play. That's the point. Right. But
y'all got past that.
We like moved past it, and I think like the most important thing was like my mom was even telling me like, look, some things happen in relationships and marriages and things, but y'all have to communicate. Nobody's perfect, and you people gonna make mistakes. You just have to decide if they're worth you moving past that. And I felt like he was worth that. I felt like our relationship was worth that, and I felt like he understood after that, like after the last time that we had that conversation or whatever, move past it. He was like, okay, this is like for real, this is serious, it's a deal breaker, and it's not worth, what I mean?
It's not worth it, bro.
It's not worth it.
And I think about that even when it comes to like just cheating in general with guys, right? Because sometimes I hope women can understand, like, when guys cheat, it's not from an emotional standpoint. It's physical. It's just like, it's a thing that we want to get off as soon as we get it. And when we get done, we be like, bro, I probably shouldn't have did that.
Yeah.
Or they probably keep doing it. But so when it happened, it was just like, I want you to understand, like, I don't really care about this girl like that anymore. Like, I care about you, and I want you to understand, like, whatever I need to do to make you understand that, I'll do that. Because it doesn't even really balance out to, okay, I'm ready to jeopardize all of this for something that's not even here anymore. I'm like, no, let it go. Done. Seriously. Like, right in front of her, I'm like, yo, I DM'd my ex, like, yo, there's no more talking. I'm in love with Chelsea. Ex, when I shut up, like, boom.
He
right
said
here.
Chelsea. He did not say Lenora. He was not playing it.
And that was it. That was like the last time, and she knew, she saw me do that in front of him. I'm like, I'm serious.
And y'all are going through all this as because now we're getting kind of a timeline. Lenora is creating the album.
Yeah.
So all of these things, I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly, that's all going to pop up on there. Like you said, you were her muse, but that means everything that's on that album, that's you.
Yeah, I don't think every song's about me, but a strong part of them.
I wrote, like, okay, so
yeah, you can explain that.
Yeah, so we recorded the album like over the span of a year, right? So January 2019 to January 2020. And it was like going trips back and forth to LA. Mm-hmm. So from January 2019 to July, I recorded, I think, I want to say a couple songs. I probably only recorded a couple songs before Jarren, which is Girl and They Say. And then I think everything else may have been when we were together, like that July to January 2020.
I'm gonna tell y'all now, red flags ain't about me.
Oh, okay.
Well, also the first part of I can't say this. The first part of Good to Me is not about you.
Right. So that's the other thing.
Like the financial thing and Good to Me, it was like a blend of bad relationships. Yeah. But that part, the second part of the song after the guitar solo, definitely about you.
Make sure y'all put that in the front of this interview. The financial is not about me.
So the editing
coming here,
because I was like, I put the bill and I pay for everything.
Yeah,
you don't
we're
pay
not
me
doing
attention
it.
like
Yeah.
I pay you. That's
guys,
not about him.
The world, that is not about me. That's not about me.
I think
I'll put a clip for you. I will. I definitely will make a clip just for that.
Yes.
Right. He like the financial part, that broke part.
No, not about me.
The X part.
That was about me.
I got the monies.
I ain't rich, but I wouldn't be in trifling making her pay. But I'm not finna do that. Like, nah.
Yeah. She only pays when she's trying to get you drunk. Yeah, we know. So I mean, look, we were just talking about the album. At your release, you were talking about how I don't want to say surprised, but you were definitely like, something about it just felt different. Like you're like, yo, it's streaming. Like this is a lot, and I really want to reiterate what you were reiterating at it is this is just you. Like you, Riot Muse, this is an independent album. Y'all put it out. When y'all see these videos, when y'all see these songs, it's just you. Like if it succeeds, if it fails, it's all you, and you're starting to gain this momentum. For both of you, that night, especially now, I saw Lenora, you were surrounded by, people trying to say, hey, what's up? Like over. I see Jarren running around. Now that y'all get a time to like decompress, what was that night like for y'all? And seeing the results of the album, seeing the response of the people that came to the release.
It was overwhelming, but in a beautiful way. I didn't think that would be the turnout. Let me just say that, because we didn't promote it publicly. I did invite only.
And it was definitely heavily mass supported.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what's funny is when we got there, like Jarren went out first because that's who he is. He's like, let me go scope the place first. Like, let me go upstairs. Let me see everything before you get off this Sprinter. So he went up there and he looked, and then he came back down and he was like, hey.
I was like, it's lit.
It's lit.
It's like, it's lit.
I was just like, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, I am a social person, but I'm also a very to myself person. So it was very overwhelming because when we got off the elevator, it was just like,
Yeah.
And it was just me, you know what I mean? Like everybody was there to support the album. So I was so grateful. And it was just surreal because even seeing, I was telling, I had an interview with DJ Superstar a couple days ago for her podcast. And I remember just like in 2019, I did a party for Judge Joe Stevens and his wife, his surprise party for his wife AJ. So shout out to them. They've been supporting me ever since. He hired me to do his wife's surprise party, and DJ Superstar was spinning. And that was the first time I met her. She didn't even know me at that time, you know, when I was playing the party. And we were cool. Like we met that night. She was awesome. But like to see from there, her not knowing me to like now, you know, where she's like, I gotta get you on my podcast, you know, which is on iHeartRadio, it's on Apple, you know, radio, it's everywhere. And so to see that, you know, we even talked about that, and she was like, yo, like the shift, your momentum is crazy.
And
like
I think that's what made me jump in, like, okay, I'm all the way in with you now. Cause like she had a shift where I was like, I told him like, yo, you understand like this is music, but this is a business.
right.
And when she got that part, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in. I'm super in. So like for
Yeah.
me, I was just happy to see all the hard work she put in come right back to her, because she's a great person. She helps people. She thinks about people. She puts herself last when she does everything. So like to see all those people there, even like some people that didn't have to be there, like Slim was waiting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Slim didn't have to come there and just
He
wait.
didn't.
No.
But the fact that he was there, the fact that how they even had their connection musically, like how he reached out, like, yo, what's up? I'm trying to really like work with you. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't really done too many songs with women since Beyonce,
And
Gwen Stefani. So it's like for him to be like, nah, what's up? I really want to get on Relax. It was just, it meant a lot for the brand, but it meant a lot for her personally because she's a really just great person. So that for me, I was just like, I'll be a fool not to try to like help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Any way I can, whatever you need me to do, you need me to come up there an hour before, 2 hours before to set stuff up, put things up, because that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? It was about making sure that it was just right because she deserved it and she earned it the right way.
Yeah, and it looked fantastic. The balloons were great. The tacos was great. I don't remember what I drank, but that was good too. But yeah, it was a really
it was wonderful. I was so like honestly pleasantly surprised that it was like that.
Yep.
It was lit.
Yeah, well, we learned from this interview that you just can't tear down Jarren, dog. You came out looking better, dog. We even tried to hit you with some hard-hitting questions, and he ate them. Like, I like that.
But I will say, bro, like, there's nothing wrong with supporting your significant other or putting a fire under them when you think or when you can see something in them they might not see themselves yet. So it's like, it's okay to be patient enough to be like, nah, bro, you about to get up and go. And she might hate you or he might hate you. But like, if you want the best for them, so be it. Over time, if they really are that person, they'll walk into that who they are. And I can tell you, like, she makes the best out of me. Because like, even though I'm doing what I'm doing, I remember she told me something the other day, I told her, I'll never forget it. She says, you have the power to be anything you want to be. If you want to go work in corporate, you can go do that. If you want to go be entrepreneur, you can go do it. But you have the true power to make anything you want happen to happen. And that resonated with me so much because prior to her, there's no other, not even woman, but like too many people have even told me that. Because often I'm like, yo, where do I go to go ask for advice or get something? Because I'm always the strong person that no one like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, she is another strong person. So it just, everything levels out the best way.
And to speak on that a little bit, that is honestly, I'm very cognizant of that in our relationship because Jarren is a person who just wants to help people. Like the same way that y'all was saying that he like connected you with Ronnie real quick, like that's light. Like he will do that for anybody and he doesn't want anything.
I don't want nothing from it.
He wants nothing from it, but he loves to connect people. Jarren loves to just help, you know, it's who he is. It feeds him, you know, because his passion is literally rooted in service. And I think all our passions should be rooted in service. But the thing about him that I always was cognizant about was like, okay, He's always super down to help everybody. He's always super down to help me, but I know that he's doing a billion things, and I know that he doesn't have a him, right? So at first, it like sometimes, even like now, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I've told him this. Sometimes I'll get in my head and I think about that, and it makes me like really sad because I'll be like, I feel like what he needs, like he's the first to do a lot of things. So there's nobody to really open those doors. He has to open those doors. You know what I mean? When it comes to the future of education, when it comes to bridging in, you know what I mean, rap content, lyrics, and technology, and bringing that, you know what I mean, and telling these big corporations, hey, this is the future. This is what we need to do. They're like, huh? We don't know this, you know? So nobody can really walk him in those spaces. And it makes me only sad sometimes because I'm like, I wish that I could do more. You know what I mean? But instead of staying in that space, I realized, like, maybe last week I told him this. I was like, no one can be everything to anyone. I can't be everything to you. You can't be everything to me. But what I can be is present, and I can do the things that I know that, you know what I mean, that you need, that I'm able to do. And that's enough. You know what I mean? That's more than enough. Sometimes with your partner, that's offering them a break, an escape, you know what I mean? To be like, hey, you know what? Let's lay back, smoke, and watch some Netflix. Sometimes it's just building them up and letting them, putting a mirror on something that they don't see in themselves. You know, sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's, you know, we have ideas for days. Like, we both are brain children, you know, we brain children. So we sometimes it's just feeding his ideas with more ideas, you know what I mean? Helping them to blossom into something else and saying, hey, you know what? I know you were thinking about this approach, but what if we go this approach and we, you know, we tap this person and then they have this avenue. So it's just in helping how you can, not expecting to be everything to everyone, but just.
Yeah, and like people gotta understand, like, love isn't some fairy tale. This shit is ugly. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go through dips. Yes, because bro, common example, the situation with my ex. We went through a situation.
That's true. It was brief though.
But still it was a situation.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, you gotta understand, like, you gonna when you date someone, you don't know them.
Yeah.
Right? So the fact that I can sit there and say, I know you, bro, I would never, ever, really, ever know her.
That's
She's
real.
always changing. And I have to adapt to that. And it's vice versa. So, like, you got to understand at some point, and I'm not trying to get, like, super, like, religious and spiritual, but, like, stuff is getting thrown at you on purpose to see, like, what you really going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your purpose? If you say that you really want to do that, let me see if you really want to do that. And, like, even when it comes to relationships, like, it's not hard to be focused on one person. You just don't want to, fam.
Yeah.
That's really what you just don't want to. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can put any other excuse around there, like, oh man, because I'm not. Nah, you just
That's
don't want
true.
to, bro.
But
Because if you didn't like it, you would have just left.
I was gonna say, because everybody in our close knit family knows that I never wanted to be married before I dated Jarren. I didn't want to be married, and I didn't want to be a mom.
So let's be very clear. She's not pregnant, and
I'm not pregnant, not engaged, but he's the first person that, like, I was with, and I was like, I can see that for myself. And it, like, I'm happy about that. You know what I mean? I would embrace that. I would be, you know, embrace that chapter. But before that shit was like prison to me. And I know that I told him that. I was like, yo.
Well, and I say you just dating the wrong guys.
Yeah, like, my mom told me that. I was just like, marrying somebody, that could be prison.
Yeah,
but
when you with the wrong person.
I'm telling you, like, I love it here. Like, it's lit. It be little things, like, clearly, like, people are people, we go through stuff, but I'm being honest. I know I never said this to him, but, like, the whole situation, like, that was, like, minuscule compared to everything that we've been through and how I know that he feels about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just doing stupid stuff. You know how you just do stupid stuff. Like,
I had a moment, man.
And like I said, it's not like he physically cheated. That's different.
I will say, hey, fellas.
You physically cheated?
No,
I'm playing. I'm sorry. It was a joke.
I'm saying,
this is the Valentine's Day episode, y'all.
Right.
I said, please, Jarren, please don't.
I will lead out with this. There is more than one way to cheat, and it's not always physical.
Real.
It's emotional, right? And that's probably the worst. Because that means you're actively thinking about what you're getting ready to do to somebody or do with somebody else. And you really don't care about the other person's feelings. So you're like, I don't care. So it's like, I emotionally was probably cheating, not physically. Well, Yeah, let's just stop it right there because they might.
I'm about to say, please don't walk yourself into a corner. Like, no,
I'm not walking.
Don't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Things are going well.
I'm a strong black man that loves Jesus Christ. You're right.
There we go.
We are, and again, this was our Valentine's Day episode. Of course, we're gonna wait. Let the people know where you got those from.
Philip Wade.
Phil
Shout
Wade.
out Phil Wade.
Wade.
I want to say these sweatshirts were courtesy of K. Riley, though.
K. Riley.
K. Riley. It's not really. So he gifted us with these sweatshirts, but he did not tell us what they said.
He did not.
And like we opened it up, we did an unboxing. It's like,
bruh, I opened. I said, bro,
it's on his page. We like recorded our real reaction.
And the part where she was like, "How do you know I got straight?" I'm like, "Wait, yeah. How do you know she got straight?" I was like, "What is going on?" But it was cool.
Yeah, it was real cool because he has a song called "Stretch Mark Lover," which is flames, and so he has this merch launching on Valentine's Day. So we thought it would be like real cute since it's Valentine's Day.
Also,
that's excellent. That's excellent.
You can guess what this is. If I was a rapper, who would I be?
Who would you
be? Who would you be?
How about this? Here's a clue.
Oh my God.
Who would I be?
You're supposed to be Lil Uzi Vert.
No, I'm 21 Savage.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about the diamond in the.
He got 21 Savage got a dagger. That's a dagger.
Yeah, that's right. Because he's like, it's a knife.
But that looks like a Game of Thrones. Like
that looked a little bit too dagger.
We need to put it close so they can see the detailing.
Look at the detail in this. This is on some like Jon Snow. You have lost.
Wait, and why do you have that?
It's a mail opener. That's really
what? That's extra. Wow.
That's what you use to open mail?
My mom also has like a solid gold stapler and solid gold scissors.
She got it from the Willy Wonka chocolate factory.
Is she a super villain?
She might be cahoots with Avery.
I'm about to say,
wow.
Solid gold stapler.
Full circle. That's awesome.
I like it.
Well, look, the other thing, like I said, this is our Valentine's Day episode. We just had the episode with Lenora. We will have to do an update episode with Jarren because, like Lenora was just saying, there's some stuff that you were doing in the education space, and some of it can't be talked about yet. But some of the stuff you told me is incredible and could be just game changing in terms of how we educate children, and you make it look cool. So. Definitely, y'all got to go check out Reading with a Rapper.
I say this, hey, let's do a sit down in person interview.
Trust me. Okay, first of all, Jarren, quit directing this show, man. We've already got something planned. Like I got something big in the works that we can't talk about yet either. Yeah. So don't worry. I would have told you
my face because I'm just like.
I would have told you at the event, but you was moving around like so much that I was like, all right, we'll talk to them Valentine's Day. He was moving around a lot, you know what I'm saying? And there were so many people at that. Y'all talked about Slim Thug. I didn't even realize that was him until somebody had said his name. He was just.
I was about to say, don't be saying it was so many people there. I ain't about to have a mayor calling me out.
No. It wasn't. First of all, it was outside on a rooftop. They were spread out. Like that's where I felt. I said, let me step outside. Right. But it was also cold. It got cold that night. And who knew that when you walk like 20 feet in the air, that's where all the wind is. Like I was like, dog, the wind was whipping and I looked over and I was like, dog, this tall dude just got the t-shirt on. Like it's not helping him. And then I looked up, I was like, that's
he was hurting.
Like slipped there and he was like, man, it is cold. Like
I just don't understand why the weather has to be like that night.
It
like
was
every other night. You see what it's like.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't have. It didn't have to do me like that.
It came out the blue, but then it also goes to show how much people wanted to support because people stood out in that cold. They was like, all right, we stand it. So look, we appreciate you guys coming out. There's definitely going to be more from the two of you. Go back and watch Lenora's previous 2 episodes. The last one where she's talking about the girls' album, and then the first episode we had with her that is our second longest running episode. Jack Freeman is beating you. Sorry, Jack Freeman's beating you. And then, of course, you got to go back and watch Jarren's episode where he is talking about reading with a rapper. And stay tuned for some sit downs that Jarren just kind of slightly revealed. But don't worry, we're gonna be talking soon. So, yeah, man, we appreciate y'all just coming out.
Yeah.
Of course. You know we had to do it. Y'all are like
y'all family.
Yeah, family. Y'all are like our favorite interview.
And I don't really do a lot of press like that, like sit down, but every time y'all hit me, I'm like, nah.
He was like, they're great.
Let's do it.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate that.
That's sweet. Really appreciate it, man. Once again, it's been a good episode. We had Jarren Small and Lenora. Her name is Lenora, so don't call her by her government name unless you're Jarren. So don't walk up on her and be like, "No, I'm not even gonna say it." Because if you didn't catch it, then you got to go back and watch the whole interview, and we want the spins. Anyway, this has been another good episode. I am Avery, like a very nice guy. That's been my brother, Jess Devine. Yay.
That's me.
Yeah, he does it again. In my humble opinion podcast, people. Humbly yours. Thank you. And good night.